Hello, everyone. Do. See if I'm live. Hey, Patriot Defense. How you doing, brother? Here, I'll send you a link so you can come in and BS. Hey, I have two beagles. Stupid thing. Hey, Miss Joe. If you all would like to come in, you can. Sit back, cut up in jokes if you want to. Let me. There's a link. Hey, HPR. Oh, meant to grab you, Miss Joe. Sorry about that. So, how's the weather where all you guys are at? So, what do you guys think about all these shit shows lately? Have you been thinking they're pretty well pathetic? Hey, Diver. Hey, Diver. Hello, Diver.
Good evening. I'm just shutting down my other wing mount.
You got feedback, Diver.
How about now?
Oh, feedback again.
We get over headset.
Oh, feedback kills the ears. Hey, Kim J, how you doing, hon? So, HPR, what do you think about all these shit shows from Gary to News Now, New England, and to Peachy Rider to Bumfuck Egypt and Tammy Linlin and Lou Stefano or the Salty Rant?
My question is, why do we bother?
Yep.
If they didn't have an audience or people commenting, they would disappear.
And I agree with you there. And it seemed like they hate it when you call them out on their hypocrisy for some reason.
People can't handle truth. I've realized that many, many years ago. They don't want to know the truth about themselves. They don't want to know the truth about what they've done. They don't want to know the truth about how they are acting. They just want to do what they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it, and be damned anybody gets in their way.
Yep. Then you get these people that like to say, "Well, I didn't know. It's not my fault," and they just don't want to own up to their actions.
Exactly.
And it's like, wow, really? When did you go back to being a child when you fucked
When
up and
when
you
did
broke
they
the law?
ever grow up?
Yep. True.
Now, you and I are older than most of them, and for some reason, we're calm enough and reasonable enough to see what's going on around us. And we have the morals, we have the work ethic to not do the things that will cross the line of morality and legality.
Yep.
What is so hard to understand about that?
If you don't want to deal with the cops, guess what? Don't fucking break the law. You know?
If you want to poke a bear, be prepared for the consequences.
Yep.
If you want to go out there and make a name for yourself by getting in trouble, be prepared to face the consequences. And the funny part about it is, there are those out there that have not only no care for the consequences that they're going to have to face, but they dismiss them. They say, oh, that'll never happen. Well, guess what? It has. And there are people that have had it happen to that deny the fact that it happened and deny the fact that there are public records out there to prove it.
Yep. And court documents, paperwork, videos,
That's
and a
all
bunch of
public. Well, the videos, you put it out there on YouTube, it's public record.
yep. And your own videos that you say don't lie. Some of them do.
Well, they don't necessarily lie,
It's used
they
against
mislead.
you. Yes.
Those that know how to edit, those that know how to splice digitally, can make anything look like anything.
Yep. Hell, they,
CGI has gotten to a point where we don't need actors anymore.
showed a video of some dude talking like President Obama and sounded just like President Obama.
You know what's funny? I got a robocall the other day that the software they were using to make the words was so bad, it was worse than some of those 1970 computer movies. I'm serious. Each word was clipped. It had a noise in front of it, it had a noise behind it, and when they went to make a sentence, it was hilarious.
Kind of like the Godzilla movie, the old one, where they go, "Look, Godzilla." Then the first video would play, and then they would talk afterwards.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, you're talking about the Japanese speaking their language and then being dubbed in English. Yeah, their words are a lot more descriptive than ours, and it takes a little longer for them to say the same thing we do. But just dubbing, that's nothing compared to what this is. I'm trying to remember the movie. The quote is, "Shall we play a game?" It was worse than that.
Song,
Monotone and clipped and stuttering. Oh, it was horrible. And the worst of it is you can't do anything to stop it other than hang up.
here, talk to my friend Tone. Click. Hey, teacher, come on up.
Yeah, all of this quote unquote drama is there for clicks and views so they can get their 1,000 subs, so they can go out with a hand phone and video live without having to use a tablet or a laptop.
Yeah, sorry about the hiccups, guys.
You need to be scared.
I am scared you're here.
Oh, no need to fear me. The old saying, if you got nothing to hide, you shouldn't object to it. Well, that's an invasion of my privacy, and I got nothing to hide, but good luck finding anything, because I'm certainly not going to help.
Yep.
And there are those out there that have quite a bit to hide. And when somebody finds it and publishes it, oh, you're publishing, you're doxing me. Hey, you doxed yourself many, many times with many, many videos and by doing other things that actually expose yourself when you do it online.
Yep. Like for example, OG Ohio Guardian 2.0. He was whining about a certain female in cred doxing him. Well, he said who he was. He showed his ankle monitor. He showed a piece of paper and did a bunch of lying, and people dug in on it. And he told where he lived.
Doxing yourself is very easily done if you're not careful. And there are people out there that really know what they're doing in finding out who you are. Some of them are adept at it. Some of them are rather, they try, but they're not succeeding very well. But there are those that you and I both know who are very adept at it. And I'm sure they're holding back quite a bit because there are TOS on everything on the internet because these companies don't want to be sued. Back about, oh God, 6 to 10 years ago, there was a bevy of lawsuits over what went on over the internet, from doxing to libel to slander. And people were spending a lot of money trying to defend themselves. And the cute part about the internet is the people that are filing the suit don't necessarily operate in your state, but they can still file.
Yep.
Now, if they file in state court and they put out a subpoena for you to appear, and you have no intention of ever appearing in that state in your life, the court may determine, well, we're not going to subpoena him. We're just going to find against him. And then you have to worry about people coming to collect that money or whatever it is that they're suing, have won in the suit. But it's just phenomenal to see the amount of threats and slander and libel that's out there. And of course, your vast majority don't do anything about it
Yeah.
because the source is so, how should I put this? Incredibly incredible. I mean,
Oh, they said this, they said that, and they're like, and people are like getting so happy over a freaking word. It's like,
we
really?
live in a litigious society. Lawyers got to eat too, I guess. There's plenty of them out there.
You slander me, and the guy's clear out in California. You're gonna really waste your money on a subpoena from a person over in New Jersey, for example, have him go all the way out there. Then hopefully you win. And
Well, I hate to say it, but I've seen it happen. There was a forum company that, I should say, there was a group of gentlemen that ran a website that was a forum. There were some things said on that forum that a certain company did not like because it was telling the truth about their products. They sued the two gentlemen that owned the forum. One party was in Florida, the other was in California. And they had to answer it because it was in federal court. Now, I don't know whatever happened to it. It was oh God, it's got to be at least a dozen years ago. But
Hey,
it was before YouTube. It was before StreamYards and all this other technology that's out there. It's all really software, but it just goes to show that people are, in general, snowflakes.
Yep. They allow a word to hurt their little feelers. Now I can see like with a death threat, it's totally different. But like you call me a dumb fuck. I shouldn't take it as offense because it's your right to have your opinion. Your right to have your freedom of speech. And if I want it for everyone, I must allow everyone to have it.
Yeah, and it's as simple as accepting what is said by who is saying it, and as to whether or not you give it any power over yourself.
Yep. If you give it weight or merit.
And people just allow their emotions to overcome their logic and reasoning, and that's why we end up in court. That's why we end up with people hurting and killing, and why we end up with war.
Yep. Gen T, you come on up on panel. Trying to get Patriot up here, but he's being a scaredy cat.
Hey, we can't bite. This is the internet. Reality bites, but hey, I've been saying that for years.
Hey, Northern Trail Dog.
That's why they call it a cough button, my friend.
Yeah. Damn cigarette smokes. What can I say?
Yeah, I haven't had a cigarette since 1969.
Shows you how old he is. So, did you get that law or policy or whatever enact out in New Jersey?
You have to give me a little context here.
For the bay.
For the what? For the what?
For the bay wetlands you were trying to protect or something?
Oh, you mean tidelands?
Tidelands, yeah.
Yeah, public access to all tidelands. We got the law, but it hasn't really sunk into any of the municipalities, let alone the private property owners. We just had a town over the weekend because they were having so many people show up on the beach that these second and third homeowners, and these are their second or third homes on the beach, complained to the mayor of this town. Oh my God, they're parking all over. We can't even walk down our street. Well, they came out with an emergency ordinance to disallow parking on very close to half a mile of their beachfront on all streets on either side of the parallel road that paralleled the beach. And two of the things that they violated is, one, they violated our tidelands law, our public access law. Two, they violated their agreement with the State Department of Environmental Protection so that they could get sand at our expense from the federal government. They had to sign an agreement with our state DEP, who in turn signed an agreement with the Army Corps of Engineers to replace sand, what's called sand beach replenishment, for 50 years after Sandy. And all of the restoration work that was done in the 120 some odd miles of beach of New Jersey, it's about 130, 128, 130 total. But all of the beach that was restored was paid by you,
Hey,
me,
Patriot.
everybody else in the
Hey,
country.
brother.
Hey, PD,
Hey, how you doing?
surviving.
So how you doing there, Patriot?
Doing good. I didn't want to interrupt you guys. Go ahead.
Yeah,
No,
I
you're
was
fine.
just relating some of the recent events here in New Jersey. Got a town that the property owners along the beach were complaining that people were parking on their streets, which is totally legal.
Yep.
I guess their guests couldn't park, even though they got plenty of driveways and parking locations on their own property, at least most of them. And, these multi-million-dollar homes on the beach and just inland from the beach. So the town fathers decided, okay, fine. We have an emergency ordinance we can push that will close down all parking on at least three streets which extend past the inland parallel road, inland another quarter mile, and stop all parking there.
So that basically boils down to money talks, bullshit walks.
Well, basically,
Usually,
it works. Yeah, I got somewhat the same problem here. I live next to a baseball park in our neighborhood here, and although when I first moved here, it was supposed to be accessible for the neighborhood children and their parents to come up here and kind of park around here in order to get to the baseball field, so they didn't have to go all the way around and it make it easier for them. But then it got to be a thing where everybody in the ball field did it, and I can understand why, because it's a main thoroughfare on the other side, and it's kind of dangerous. But it got to the point where if I wanted to have, say, a few people over, my guests had to park way down the block. And I would think I had every reasonable expectation I'd have a few parking spaces here, because I pay my property taxes here, and I spent extra to buy a corner lot, so I'd have that extra parking. But basically, the cops told me because it's a public street, I have no expectation of anything.
and the other side of that is, I don't know about your state, but my state, you have to be 50 feet away from a stop sign and 25 feet away from the rest of the intersection on any on any given intersection. You're
Yeah,
not allowed to park.
they're saying it's 15 feet here.
Well, your people are generous.
Well, it's a small town, but and it's way back in the corner of a neighborhood, so it's not like it's in a main thoroughfare. But it's just that it gets to be a real pain in the ass, and especially when the high school was actually using this baseball field for the high school football games. And trust me, when you got a high school football game that was being played on this field, where there's basically very little parking there, and all the neighborhoods surrounding us was just inundated with cars, it became a problem. Uh, Now we put up with it, because we wanted to see the game and there was a lot going on. It was exciting, especially if you wanted to go watch the game, you just walked out your house and went over there to see it, that type thing. But as time got on, your kids grew up, it gets to be a real pain. But the point is that I can see the people that live there, they're thinking, but it's not like a beach. It's a public beach, and they're probably thinking, "Oh, we got this property. We got our own private beach, that type thing, and we can close it off. We got another Jersey Shore thing going on here, and
Yeah,
we didn't have to pay all that money for it."
there's a thing called the public trust doctrine.
Yep.
It's only been around for 2 or 3 millennia.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah, basically it's from Roman times. I forget the exact emperor that declared that the sea, sun, and air belong to the people, and that has worked its way up through English common law to the United States. And a group of us, several different organizations, fishing, environmental, diving, and what have you, got together, oh God, 2 years ago, I guess, and started basically again hammering our politicians
Hmm.
to come out with and recognize in statute this doctrine so that people who don't have the wherewithal to buy a multi-million dollar piece of property, build a multi-million dollar home that is their second or third home, and be able to show up in the summertime and have a vacation there
Hmm.
for the entire season. But we have a town here in New Jersey, and I'm a little infamous calling it the Palm Beach of New Jersey.
Hmm.
I don't know if you know anything about Palm Beach, Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't take tax money in any way, shape, or form from federal, state, or county. All of their funding is from property taxes. And they say how and where and what you're going to do on your property and how and where and what gets done to their town. They don't take any money from anybody other than their property owners. And guess who they listen to more than anybody else?
Hmm. Property owners. They
Exactly.
well, it's their town. They own it.
Yeah. Well, because of the public trust doctrine and because of other statutes that are written into New Jersey law, we have a thing here, and so do other coastal towns, that when you use federal funding to restore or replenish your beaches, you've got to abide by certain rules. One of them is public access every half mile. Now, we went through two different write ups of statutes that were declared, well, I should say, not statute, regulations that were declared unconstitutional by our state Supreme Court, one under the Corzine administration and then another one under the Christie administration, where they tried to do certain things to basically control what goes on
Hey, Docs. Hey, Jason.
in shore towns.
Odin.
Good afternoon, or evening actually now. But the only problem is the judges didn't see it that way, so they both got declared unconstitutional, basically because the legislature never gave the Department of Environmental Protection the authority to write the regulations. Well, that's one of the things this statute that I've been talking to Odin about did. It gave our Department of Environmental Protection the right to write regulations on beach and tidelands access. And I'm talking any river that has a tide and any beach. And the cute part about the federal funding for beach restoration and replenishment, if you do not allow public access perpendicular every half mile, your beach will be declared private. And instead of paying 35% of any replenishment, it's going to be a wee bit higher. So your property owners are going to have to fork up quite a few more, probably millions of dollars.
Hey, Docs. Give me a minute. I'll put you up here.
And that's one of the things that happened this weekend. A town decided that it's going to listen to their property owners, and they created an emergency ordinance that said no parking
Hey,
on
Joey.
perpendicular roads to the beach to keep the undesirables off the beach.
So
Well,
they're less fortunate.
yeah, well, they got their face slapped earlier this morning.
Hey, Archer.
Actually, they got their face slapped yesterday by the same group that got that statute passed. And they came out today with a public announcement that the ordinance is rescinded.
They didn't really think they were going to get away with that, did they?
They wouldn't have done it if they didn't think they could. And by the way, it's not the first town to try it.
So Diver, would you say the pen's mightier than the sword? Hey ass. I mean hey
Well,
donkey.
in this case, the keyboard and the telephone are mightier than the voting. I should say not voting, than the local mayor and council.
Get enough people together and bitch about it, something will happen.
Well, one of the things, every time a town comes out with this, I just say, okay, fine. Remember that document you signed with the DEP that they in turn signed with the Army Corps about those wonderful beaches that you have that the rest of the country paid for? And you signed on saying that you would do these things. And now you're not. In fact, you're actually going back on your agreement and keeping people away from the beach by doing this. Oh yeah, by the way, that's a violation. And next time you decide that you need beach replenishment, you're gonna pay
What
a
the hell?
whole lot more.
Sorry about that, Docs. This StreamYard's is fucking up. It doesn't like you.
It's fine though. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you came in all right.
No, I keep blinking her in and out, in and out. So Jason, how are you doing up there?
He's talking behind himself there.
Earth to Jason. Earth to Jason. Come in, Jason.
StreamYards to Jason. Oh, he put his finger up. Hang on.
Don't give me the finger, you fucker. Clean your bed.
What's up, man? I was just trying to catch up on what you were talking about with the beach stuff, but
This isn't the first time a New Jersey coastal town has tried it. This town that I call the Palm Beach of New Jersey has made 3 attempts in a section of their beachfront to change their parking to residential only permits.
Come on up, wheelchair man, Archer.
okay. But
Yeah,
park-
they tried 3 different versions and failed all 3 times.
I'll have to check out where my nephew has his place. I know he's got a beach house on Jersey somewhere, or in Jersey somewhere.
Now, I'll wager it's not the northern portion of our beaches because you're talking multi-million-dollar homes.
Well, that's I would tend to think that's probably where it is.
Well, it's all right. One of our congressmen has a beach house in a HOA type neighborhood, and
See.
between the semi-public access that they have in that area, the several sections of the beach property were deeded to separate this HOA or whatever it is association, and they in turn sold it to private property owners. But this one section had to have public access for fishermen. It says it right in the deed. It's called an easement.
Yeah.
I've got a copy of it. And lately, it's been fenced and locked. And I say lately, the last 2-3 years. And there's a little sign out there that says, if you want to come fishing here and use this access, and by the way, there's no parking in any street near it, you have to call this number and submit your fisheries registration to this homeowners association.
So it's
Launch the
controlled
boat
by
there,
them.
nearby.
Oh, wait a minute. Who are you talking?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It says so
Diver.
you can launch your boat there, but you can't park anywhere
No.
nearby.
Walk on fishermen. It's a sidewalk perpendicular to the beach. And I've read the deed, and the deed doesn't say anything about that because the registry didn't exist when the deed and the easement were written.
Okay, Diver, you're boring poor donkey to death, that ass.
Oh, ain't that a shame?
Oh boy.
That's
Here we
coming,
go.
a
Just trying
donkey.
to keep it going.
Oh, we could talk about how Kim hasn't met Donkey's dad yet, and they're allegedly together. If you were dating a girl, Jason, wouldn't you want her to meet your dad so your dad could say, hey, this is Keeper?
Absolutely.
Why hasn't Donkey done that yet?
I don't know. Just being an ass.
Well, he never answered me when I asked him. I said, "Are you going to do the right thing and ask his permission before you buy a ring?" I put it a little sideways when I said it, but that's basically what I said.
So, Donkey, come on up here and explain yourself, mister.
Riveting.
Well, I may be old and old-fashioned, but that's what I did with my wife. I asked her father's permission before I bought the ring. And believe it or not, my daughter's fiance asked me first.
Oh, shit.
Hell, I never got a chance. My father-in-law came up to me and said, "Hey, my daughter's leaving in the morning. If you want her, you better go get her now." I said, well, I looked at him like, "What the hell? What's wrong with her?"
Did he hand you a club?
No,
Hey, Holly.
he says, "If you want her, you better go get her." I said, "You don't have to say anything to me twice. I went after her." That was 32 years ago.
Hey, Modified Mama.
No, I was dating my wife almost 6 years before I popped the question.
Yeah, me too. That was my second marriage. The first one didn't work out, so I was gonna wait.
I don't blame you.
Especially after I had my divorce papers in my hand 2 weeks when I met her, and I said, "I ain't doing this shit again. No way, no how. Ain't gonna happen. No way, no." And swang. I saw her, and I said, "That's it." I said to my buddy, I said, "That's my next wife." Sure enough.
Oh, shit.
Well, that's the problem with that. The heart and the collunes sometimes override the brain.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking.
Hey, PD, was she that desperate to get married to you?
She had no intention of getting married at all. She was one of those New York girls that had her mind goal oriented. She was a computer programmer, and she wanted to travel the world and all that, and that way. And here's the real kicker. You guys are gonna laugh at this. When she went down to a buddy of mine's wedding, and my buddy married her sister, and I saw her at the wedding. She was in the wedding, and my buddy didn't have air conditioner, and I said, "Hey, I just bought a house and I got AC." She stayed with me that night. Thank God for AC.
That's funny.
Just
No,
because I had AC, I got married.
Yeah,
Hey,
hello.
hey, Slash. Is that the real Slash?
Yeah, that'd be the Slash. It has to be.
What's up?
Hey, Slash.
How you doing, Odin?
Hey,
Good,
Slash.
good.
How you doing, everybody?
I was going to say there for a second, I couldn't tell whether that was Tammy Lynn or not.
Hey, wait a minute. I think I fixed my sound.
That's not fair.
Hold on, hold on, Slash. You don't have a knife? Okay.
No, wait a minute.
Hands up.
Wait a minute. Emo doesn't wear his hat backwards.
And you don't put women in hospitals, do you?
No, sir.
Okay, we're safe there. Now, do you talk nasty to women?
No, sir.
Okay, we're safe there.
Yes, sir.
Well, he did lie on one thing. He does put one woman in the hospital. He takes her to work every day.
Thanks, Joe.
So you did lie.
Hey, Kumanita.
White lie. Little white lie.
No, it's a lie of omission.
Sure.
No, that's all right. My wife already had her career before we settled down. She went from park ranger to director of Parks and Rec.
Oh,
So how'd you manage to catch her?
A fishing rod.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I think it was the other way around.
No, a mutual friend introduced us at a 4th of July picnic at her house, which I think was an arranged item. I found out later. And yeah, we just clicked.
That's good.
Screw
That was the
that.
sound of the
Next time I
handcuffs.
fucking join Odin's Discord server. I got some creepy messages. Gays.
Oh
Well,
my
were they
God.
warnings or were they threats?
So they wanted to touch your butthole. Big deal.
I swear to fuck, I didn't even know the thing was open. I was just doing my computer shit. Next thing I hear in the background,
Discord or the butthole?
fuck? Discord.
He probably had his
What the fuck?
he probably had his butthole open, and they seen it through Discord, and like, oh, there's butthole.
Should I go into hole number 1 or hole number 2?
Well, I got the one
Whoa.
butthole, man.
Careful.
This is my fault. He got offered to get skull fucked.
Odin, did you bounce her again?
No, it's her connection.
Limited
Gen Z.
bandwidth.
Jen, you can come up on panel. I'll try to keep the men from being perverts.
Did you hear, Odin? Did you hear that Tammy did 3.5 miles with a shovel day digging a ditch for $25 an hour?
Pretty fucking good.
Fucking tell her he comes up from fucking Canada. I'll fucking hire the fucker if he can do that. For
What I
fuck's
wanna
sakes,
know
I'll make a mint off the fucker.
What I want to know is, I never saw the end of the video. Did Emo cut himself?
Oh, an emo?
There's a rumor flying around that he was waving the knife and got his other arm.
What I want to know is how the fuck did he dug 3.5 miles and only got $50 for it? Damn, he's a cheap bitch.
And I can't even walk fucking 3 miles in the run of a day. I'd be like,
Oh, and you got to hear about the fact he's getting a house, man. He's got to pay $900 to get all of the utilities going, and
up in New York.
it's over $500 a month, and it's worth $120,000.
yep.
It must be Brian King's old house.
Dude, it would take you 50 years to pay off $100,000 house paying $500.
Nobody's gonna give you a chance to pay that type of thing off. It's not.
Wait. I heard something. He was going over to Iraq and doing something, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's still up in the air, supposedly.
yeah, some security company, Black
Oh, we
something.
all wish the best for him.
Black Hawk?
No, listen. If Tammy can get the fucking Iraq Baghdad, let him fucking go. That's it.
Hope he loses his passport while he's over there.
I really don't think that Tammy might last a day.
That's if he
Right.
stays in the fucking plane, man. What are you talking about?
Dig trenches. He's good, buddy. He's good.
Well,
They
digging
need it
trenches
over there.
here and digging trenches over there, that's a lot of sand, man.
Doesn't that shit just blow back in where you just got done digging?
3.5 miles. Can the guy lie at least a little
That's not
better to
even
make
3
it more
miles.
believable?
I mean, that's actually what I thought I heard something about.
5,000 yards.
over there or
Just under
something
3
like that.
miles.
Bug stocks.
Hey, Doc.
I didn't hear anything about him getting a house or anything like that, though.
Oh, watch
Come
his
on up.
video. Watch his video, last video.
Hey,
You-
Joni.
You'll get the whole 9 yards of the beautiful palace he's going to be. So,
How come
Well,
it,
probably a couple of palaces over there that are available.
how come it's only allowing me to have 6? What the fuck?
did you pay for anything over 6?
Fuck, I'm a cheap bastard. I'll put Joni up.
I only think you got 6.
Okay. Joni.
I think you can stay up though. Can't you have up to 10 now on StreamYard? You don't have to leave.
I think it's a 9.
Oh,
Is it? I
If
think
he has
ten,
the
but
it's only 6.
you got to be paying.
Well, I don't want to knock him off. I was just coming to harass y'all anyway.
You piece of shit.
Waiting on my duck to come in. She's wandering around so I can go to bed. Like I'm harassing.
Yes,
The whole 5,000 yards.
5,000
Yes, sir. That's right. All by hand with a spade. I'm guessing. I'm guessing he got a spade shovel to do it.
Yeah, but how big
I
is
know
it?
how he did it. Joan helped him.
I don't even know what we're talking about. What did I help?
Well, how deep was it?
Well, if it's
How
a
deep is
trench,
the trench, Joan?
Well, what was it for? That's the next question.
We digging ditches. It's 420 somewhere, everyone.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
it's to transport weed.
it's Pablo
All
Escobar's
of the time.
escape tunnel.
The Underground Railroad there.
Well, if it's going to Iraq, I mean, what's his name needed a tunnel to live in before we
Oh,
got
yeah.
him.
I've been hearing about this rumor. What is this? Where did this start? That he's going to Iraq? What in the world? I've heard this.
It's
a couple
not a
times.
rumor. He said it
What is
himself.
happening? Something fill me in.
I mean, you're talking 3
That's
miles.
it.
That's 15,840 feet. That's a lot of footsies.
Imagine if you actually dug a ditch and you did it 5,000. Okay, you're still look at the width and the depth in that. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, please, if you're gonna lie the right way and at least fucking make it believable. Take out some zeros out of that, and maybe I could kind of believe you, and like bring down your pay to minimum wage because there's no
Yeah,
fucking way you got.
I'm under
25
I'm
bucks
under
an
the
hour.
impression he should not have used a comma.
Exactly. Just you can't.
Jason, I pulled you down for a minute. What I don't understand is if you watch him and you listen to him good enough, he'll lie on himself.
You just wait for it, and he just does it on himself, and he doesn't realize it. Like he
Yeah.
turns it around himself.
The
I'll
only
put
way
you back up.
the only way he could do that is with a piece of equipment, and we're talking like not very deep and a straight line, and it would have to be something very specific.
Yeah, it's called a ditch witch.
You know,
And,
even a ditch witch. I mean, you're going to hit something.
Yeah, you're not
Especially
going-
up in New
you're
York.
not going 3 miles.
I'm still not going that.
Miles, you need a freaking one of those machines.
You still
That's
That's what a
what
ditch
it
witch
is.
is. It's
Still not doing it. You're still not doing it. It's still gonna take forever.
You got to be
It'll
solid
take
at your
today.
job.
No, you could do it with a ditch witch if it's a big one. You know,
And
like
then
a
there's-
tractor.
And then there's the other one that doesn't break the surface called a flow mole.
That will do it.
Yeah.
That will
I've
definitely
never
do
seen
it.
one operated, but I've heard about them, and they're good.
They can
Yeah.
go. But
Kind of like a little blade that kind of cuts a little line and pulls something in
Yeah.
underneath the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
scoops it
Flow
out.
mole uses
So what?
liquid.
Came ideas here so for his next lie.
But you just got to remember, we're not talking about machinery. We're talking about Tammy's big, strong, muscular arms with a stick or something.
Is there not a ditch digging available in America? He has to go to. Where is he going?
Well, we're talking about two different
Baghdad,
things.
Iraq.
Iraq.
Oh, okay.
With a shovel.
Did
I
somebody
don't
got
So
a-
it is for being a factor if Miss Joe wants to come up. I'm good with it.
somebody
Tammy's
got a
just going to go over to be Rambo.
Fallujah.
Tammy's
is
going
it?
to go over there, put a red bandana over his head.
Go
He's
back,
pretend
red
he's Rambo. That's what he's going to think.
What is it if you have a paid version of?
Yeah.
You get more.
You get
pay,
10.
you put up to 10 on.
Oh, I'm still paying for it, and I haven't never used it.
Yeah, I've been on Shiva, the Scam Destroyers panels, and we've had a pay.
Oh, hold on. I don't see Miss Joe in the back. I believe she's back there. I just don't see her back here.
Go down. Sometimes you have to scroll down, Odin, and you know how you see us all on the bottom. You see us
Yep.
all on the bottom. If you scroll down in your browser, you might see her down in another box below all of us. Sometimes, if you don't see her, then she's not there.
Oh, hold on. I got to put her on this on a bigger TV or screen.
Go get out, Odin. Go get your plunger.
Nope, I don't see her there.
She's not there then. If she's not in your StreamYards down below all of us, the little small box, she's not there.
Nope, no small boxes.
Then there's only us that are on the screen on your one layer, right? 6 of us?
Yep.
Yeah, so there's no one
Yep.
below. Try again, Miss Joe.
There's a shortage of ditch diggers. Joni's having a blonde moment.
What was that line? Yeah. What was that line from Caddyshack that the Judge Smales said? Oh yeah, the world needs ditch diggers too.
Yeah. Spalding. Spalding. My favorite movies.
Everyone's got to have one moment.
I'm gonna have to watch that movie now.
Hell, my employer wouldn't let me use a shovel. Yeah,
You're a fucking bus driver.
No, they plowed in my truck one day where I was parked, and I told him, no, I'll just go back home, get a shovel, and I'll have it out in 5 minutes. He says, nope, you stay there and you wait for them to come back. I waited an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was a lot cheaper for him to have you sitting there for an hour and a half than all the money it would have cost him for a back problem.
Yeah, I was young enough back then. There's no way I'd have. Hey, I used to climb telephone poles for a living. Believe me, I work careful.
Okay, I
did that too.
Oops, sorry, Patriot.
No,
I got
that's
a
all right.
I got a question. Joni's here. Where the hell's Joe?
Hey,
Well, yeah,
Rob,
Believe it or not, he's over at
a
emo.
couple weeks ago.
Put him in the trunk of my car.
we're not attached at the hip. He has his own life.
Oh, we're not as cool as emo. I see how it is.
Yeah, I think he's over to emo's panel there, I believe.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, Brooks, he's always, he is attached to my hip. I can call him in a second. He'll be here.
Oh.
Magical weapon powers.
Yeah, I get tired of the drama. I really do.
I just don't watch it. It's simple as that. I hear about it on panels. I hear about it on live stream. I let everybody else watch it, and then I just listen to the panels.
Right.
The live streams.
That way.
I don't. I mean, people got their own thing going on, and I just don't understand. Just leave the guy alone, for God's sakes. The best way to get rid of somebody is not to acknowledge him, and just he'll eventually fade away, and you don't have to deal with him. I mean, you don't like him, just leave him alone. You know.
Right?
Well, see,
Does
that's the
anyone
problem.
remember? Does anyone remember that friend or that boyfriend that we just quit talking to? Do you even remember their name anymore? Eventually, they disappear.
Yeah, but we've been doing it to News Now Patrick and News Now Houston, and they're still around.
Mm-mm.
But they may be still around, but I don't. The people that I don't care to listen to, I don't go to listen to them. I just don't go listen to them. I don't deal with them. I don't, it's like if you don't want to go over to somebody's house, you don't go.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I've unsubbed from quite a few people in the last 2 years. And I still have over 100 bloody subscriptions.
That's it.
I mean,
No, I see all the titles and I see who it is, and I'm not watching that.
Yep. I mean, last Monday I was I had it scheduled to shut my channel down, and I was gonna. I had every intention of doing it, and then I went on Sunday night to it was Peachy Riders panel, and I was listening to that, and I think it was Sunday sometime. And they were giving her a rash of shit for something, and I got on, and I thought to myself, you know what? I just figured out what I should do. I should stay and try to stop this nonsense and try to keep people focused on what the real thing is.
Right on.
Well, I don't know. I
I'm
don't
sorry,
know if
go
it
ahead.
was the same. Yeah, I don't know if it was the same panel, but I caught the end of one of hers, the last 5 minutes or so, and it was pitiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really, I see. Why do you flagellate yourself like that? I
Yep.
mean, it's ridiculous.
It's I just said, you guys, I hear all this going after each other. The whole idea of these panels is to talk about, come up with better solutions to get the people that's in power to listen to what
Is-
you're saying,
that
to get
what-
them on track.
Fighting for everybody else.
What's that?
Is that
You're breaking
fighting
up.
for everybody else?
You're
With me.
breaking up.
You're breaking up, Odin.
All right.
You're gonna pop back in.
Try it now. And now he shut himself down completely.
Is that any better?
No.
Way better.
Damn it.
All right, I'll put Clash back up here. At least
You're
we can hear him.
sounding like Alex.
Damn it.
No, it's like I agree with Patriots. We don't bother. We don't feed into it. They'll eventually go away.
I'm gonna bounce out of here for a minute.
Well, I mean, the whole idea was to. I can come on here. I don't know a lot about the First Amendment auditing and the laws and stuff like this, but what I can do is give a calm voice to saying, "Hey guys, you're off topic here. Let's keep what we're supposed to be doing is come up with a better, calmer solution to get these guys to focus and say, hey, yeah, we're not following the Constitution. We're not following our own laws." And to come up with better solutions on how to get them to do that. And fighting with each other and calling each other's names is not going to do it. I mean, that's
No,
not
and
the
it
whole
turns
idea about it.
people off. It turns people off that are looking for answers, and they come in and they think, well, shit, these people can't even get them. So it's a big turnoff for others to think that the more we can get along, the better it looks on the outside. I mean, that's the type of person I am. When I come across something and I see a bunch of people just constantly arguing, I'm just not interested anymore. So I think what you're talking about, Petey, makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's been for the last 6 months. All I've heard is arguing and bickering about who's done what and what. Instead of saying, like Gen T, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're going after this person. You're saying this shit. And you're saying that shit. When I should be saying, hey Jen, look, I noticed you said this the other day. I did some research on this, and this is what I found. What did you find? Hey, well, Gen T comes back and says, well, that's not right, Mark. Where did you get your information? Here's your information. Instead of saying, well, I'm not going to tell you. Do your own damn research. No, let's compare notes because there's something. Yeah, exactly. There's something out there that's not right.
Things you are. I like to look at the other side too. So I'm going to find different things in you because I think differently. So
right. So let's collaborate. You know what they say about the truth. There's Jen's truth, there's my truth, and then there's the real truth. Never the twain shall meet. Okay, so let's collaborate. Let's figure out where that disconnect is and come up with that real truth, and let's agree on it. If we don't agree 100%, that's okay. But now, instead of not agreeing at all, we may agree on it 50, maybe 70, 80%. We're that much closer to a solution.
Odin, totally refresh. Refresh. You won't lose your stream. Just refresh and jump back in. That'll fix your problem.
All right, Odin, we'll keep the fort down.
But we can't do that if we're bitching and moaning about each other the way this person's doing it, or if this guy's autistic, or it doesn't do a damn thing but play into what these idiots are saying out there.
No, Virtual. He's just using me as an example.
Yeah, it's just an example, Virtual. That's all. And that's why I'm saying that this is why I decided to try it again and see if it'll work. And I don't know if anybody's open to that or not. And if they are, great. If they're not, well, then I can always shut it down, and just go on my merry way. And
PD,
again,
when
I tried it,
when you leave, people like us will miss you. Like, fuck them, stay for us. Who gives a fuck if everybody likes you?
well, I don't care if everybody likes me. I prefer it, but not everybody's going to like you, and that's fine. I understand
people
that.
like me. The more people that like me, the more people that get in my business.
Oh, hold on. I got to talk with Patriot Defense.
There you are.
Peachy brings on half her problems herself. To me, I can't stand her. When she went and trolled me on Nomad's death, trolling people on somebody's death is a huge no-no. And in my opinion, she did attack that kid. Was it wrong for the kid to be on live more than 10 minutes? Yes, in my opinion. If it was my child, I wouldn't allow it. I'd have took her off live stream and allowed her to talk to her uncle.
You see, I wasn't on all that. I just heard the tail end of it. And that's why I said on there, I don't agree with her being on there. We probably, as a parent, I wouldn't have done that either. But it is their prerogative to, it's their child, and you heard me say that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that, the idea that he should lose his kid or anything.
No. It was.
Come on.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it was a little bit on the poor side of a decision to do that.
But what parent hasn't done things like that? What if they were perfect parents? It
was a mistake.
Yeah,
it was a mistake, in my opinion. But if they were there, I guess it was they rectified it quickly and it's over with. And maybe she shouldn't have been as harsh, maybe as I guess apparently she was.
Well, okay, I got a question for who all was involved. When are you going to hold up yourself to your own values and not say shit where kids could say it? You got to say, hey, I fucked up too, for saying, hey, this could be porn bomb. Adults got to start acting like fucking adults.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If you want your kids to learn how to use a tool, a gun, you got to go out there and teach them how to use it and what to do with it and what not to do it. You got to teach them the fucking Constitution.
Sure.
From front page to the back page. You can't just say, well, the government ain't teaching them. Well, why aren't you fucking teaching them? You don't want the government in your life, but yet when they do get in your life, you're bitching about it. Then when they ain't in your life, you bitch about the other way. It's like, what the fuck is your mind?
Sure.
No,
damned
see,
if you do and damned if you don't. Sorry.
Exactly.
If that had have been me, and that happened to me and my daughter, I would have taken her aside and said, "This is one of these life lessons that we learn from." And I would have told her, I said, "This is a mistake. I should not have let you on there, but this is a good lesson to see. This is what, when I tell you that things can happen on the internet that's not so good, this is one of those things."
That's true. Use it as a teaching lesson.
Use it as a teaching tool for that child to say, this is why when I say don't do something, this is one of those reasons. Don't just say to the child, don't worry about it. They're a bunch of assholes. Don't say that. You need to explain to that child, this is one of these reasons why. So if they don't have something to go by and put it to, they have to see something. They're visual. They just can't compute something. They have to visualize why they shouldn't do something. And
you have to teach them, this is what inappropriate behavior looks like and sounds like.
Right.
Yeah.
And please don't take this like I'm being a pervert or gross or anything. Kids see more or let me put it this way. They hear more derogatory words coming out of their parents' mouth and off the TV than what they could hear on here.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. They hear more of it in school than any place you'd imagine.
Well, where did you
Yeah.
learn it? Where did we learn it?
Yep. From your parents. You learn from your parents. You learn
I
from your
probably would say that I heard it more from school.
Yeah, I
Parents,
didn't-
uncle in school.
Friend's parent. You know.
Yeah, I'd probably say school, but you know, that's one of the things that usually used to piss me off the most is when my parents would say, "Don't do that," and I'd say, "Well, why not?" "Because I said so." That to me pissed me off the worst because I had nothing to go by. Well, that's no reason
Why?
for me. I need to know why.
Exactly.
And it wasn't to be an asshole. It was to know, okay, I need something. I was visual. I needed to say, okay, I shouldn't do this because if I walk out in front of this car, I'm going to get killed. Not just because you didn't want me to do it, it's because I was going to get run over.
Why do you not stick that fork into the electrical socket? Well, this is why.
Yeah.
Boom. That'll teach you, and you'll know your consequences. Well, this is why. Yeah.
Yeah, we tell our daughter all the time, there's no reason for you to get hurt. You can just
Cody,
learn
you're
from
echoing.
my mistakes, right? You can just trust me that I know what I'm talking about. And that way you don't even have to learn the hard way. You know, not everybody has to get hurt.
But children are still inquisitive. They still want to see, or they want to know what's going to happen. And even though you said, well, what will happen is if you stick that in there, it'll short out, and it can explode, or it can spark, or it'll shock you, and you could die, or it might hurt your arm, or they're still inquisitive about it, and they you know, a lot of kids, you tell them not to do something, they're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
It could maim or kill you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know, that's just one of those things you kind of keep an eye on them afterward, and their mind is going to go, and within probably 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, they're going to be off onto something else.
I was
Even
going
if
to
it-
say, they're coming for somebody and they just arrived.
Yeah, that's over here. That's an ambulance right there going down the road. We're on a major intersection for cops and ambulances.
But that
Put
whole
it-
thing, I never
put
thought
it
the
this
guy
way,
was in a church
Patriot,
before.
when I learned to use a chainsaw when I was first as a young teenager, very young, right? I wasn't even a teenager. I was about 10 or 11 when I started using a chainsaw. You watch, because I could have just started that up and cut my bloody leg off, you know, not knowing how to use something. Kids are also stupid as they get older, but you grow into getting responsible and understanding what things do. But a little child at like 3 years old, they don't have a clue what anything is.
Right. Well, I think as we get older, we get more brazen, and we get more, oh, nothing's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
You know, I know better. I'm getting older. I think I know everything. And I
Yeah,
was the
it's
same
called
way.
the invulnerability of youth.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yep.
You know, hey, look at this chainsaw. This thing is pretty cool. Hey, I'm old enough to use this thing. That chain doesn't look all that bad. It's very small. But the damage it can do in seconds it's just not fathomable to a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old, you know?
You don't know about a chain tightness. You don't know about sharpness. You don't know how to control it. You don't know anything.
Yeah, but wasn't there a time that we learned by trial and error? I remember learning a lot of things on my own because I just gave it a shot.
Yeah,
I learned. Didn't get too hurt, but yeah.
Oh man.
Hopefully it doesn't cost a leg.
Then you got this. What do you think about this corporate media where they're saying one way, then they say another way, and then back the other way? It's like, what the hell are you guys trying to say?
Make up your
and
mind.
waffling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you'll recall, or it's still there, I'm sure, the Doonesbury comic strip
Yeah.
and the different symbols for the presidents that he uses.
I didn't realize that.
Yep.
Yeah, guess whose Clinton was?
Who's that?
A waffle.
Should have been a cheeseburger.
Jeez.
Things are going crazy.
Well, didn't he like to go to McDonald's all the time and eat cheeseburgers?
Wasn't he did always like go to hamburger joints and shit, didn't he? They think they even made fun of him on Saturday Night Live with a skit about him at a hamburger joint.
Yeah, they did that on Robot Chicken too with him and George W. Bush.
Right.
That was hilarious. Like, yeah, W, I got here first. Oh my god. Gotta love Saturday Night or fucking Robot Chicken. That shit's just fucking off the hook.
Well, rumor has it that Elvis Presley used to like to get up in the middle of the night and jump in his jet and go to a certain place. I forget where it was, and get him a peanut butter and banana sandwich in the middle of the night.
I heard about that too. Yeah,
I heard about that.
He
I'm
did.
willing to bet you it's true. I'm willing to bet you.
Oh,
It's true. It's
Yeah,
true.
but I'm saddened.
It was so
I'm
upset.
saddened. Herb Daniels died yesterday. It ticked me off.
Okay,
Yeah.
where is
We
the
all
panel?
gotta go sometime.
Okay, where's the panel whore Joe Cool at?
I don't know.
Well, they say, now I don't know if this is true, but they say if you say his name 3 times in a row, he'll show up.
Beware mouse, beware mouse.
Oh,
No,
God.
not that one. That fucker's blocked. They don't support pedals.
Emo.
He'll be fun to play with. I mean, talk to.
Yeah, I think I went on, back when he was actually using it, I went on Mouse's panel one time. I ripped him a new one and he kicked me off, and I haven't been back since.
He tries to play a YouTube lawyer and fuck, he goes 12 different ways in one sentence.
He goes 12 ways to Saturday, twice on Thursdays. Like I don't know, he's over the map. I tried to listen to a little bit of his talk, and oh my god, it's just you don't know where you're going with it. And half the shit he talks about makes no goddamn sense. So I don't understand anybody with him.
Well, the Nazis on the moon was fun.
The Nazis on the moon. I missed that one. What was that?
Yeah, I heard he had a meltdown again today because nobody was donate $5 to him or some shit.
Oh, poor guy. Go and get a fucking job.
Who's that?
Beware mouse.
Who?
Beware Mouse.
Mouse.
He just came in. Wicked Development.
Wicked Development. Hello.
I don't see him in here yet.
Yeah,
he's
what I find
He says
incredible.
he says mirroring Odin.
You do not have permission to mirror this.
What I
Yeah,
find
no.
incredible is the amount of criminals that are involved in this genre, if you will. And I do understand why, but I just find it incredible that they are still out there, they are still running their channels, and yet the truth about their past and their recidivism, which is the real reason that I have an incredible, just incredulous as to why people follow someone who is not only a convicted felon, but a repeat offender, which is what recidivism is about.
Who would be the supporters and who are the subscribers?
Exactly.
Yep.
I mean,
as a
over
father of 2 kids, I cannot support or condone anything like that along any lines. It's wrong. It's disgusting. And if it's around my kids, I would kill somebody. That's just it. Any father or mother would do that with their children. Point blank.
well, I was told at a very young age that I would never make jail if I committed anything like that, as we're referring to euphemistically, and also if I ever got into drugs. And of course, my father would be the one that said it, and he wore a sidearm when he was working.
Right.
I found Joe cool,
Where'd you find him?
just where I said he was.
Over in Emos.
Yeah.
Get him out of there and get him over here.
So is Jason, traitor.
Ah! Fuck you, Jason, you piece of shit.
Now I got a question for y'all here. Should a person apologize to another person for their opinion?
No, not for an opinion.
Everybody has opinions, man, just like assholes. I mean, I'm sure that I've said a bunch of opinions that people on this panel and chat probably don't agree with too.
I mean,
But I mean, it's also just an opinion.
some people will be polite and say, "Hey, I'm sorry, but that's what I believe." You know.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
I've
I
done
think that's a
this.
natural response, I guess. I would think.
Hey, I apologized last night to the police officers 3 times in the United States that I called. They just didn't like me.
No, that's why I always say reality bites. You just got to make sure it don't take too big a chunk.
Yep.
And if
I mean,
it
it's-
does, you got to be prepared for it.
I mean, that's kind of like. That's like you're apologizing for being moral and a law-abiding citizen and being a good person.
Isn't that what our soldiers go over and die for and bleed out for? Is our freedom of speech, our way of life?
Yep.
So when you're demanding an apology, you're kind of like, excuse my term here, pissing on their graves, pissing on their sacrifice.
I
could
agree.
see you saying that, yeah.
I could see it for sure.
And
Have to have
it's
respect.
a total bullshit move.
Well, we live in a more and more politically correct country. Unfortunately, it's getting worse by the day, practically. And I don't see any, I don't know whether to say stop to it, or I don't see any ceiling on it.
I was gonna say you ain't seeing any improvements.
I don't know if I would say that's a politically correct. Having to apologize for your opinion, though. I mean, I could see where if everybody started doing it, then everybody'd start thinking it. I mean, are you seeing that out there?
Well,
We're apologizing for all the statues we put up over the last 2 centuries.
Oh, that. Oh, yeah, that's.
Yeah, I was just gonna say because we're having our statues taken down, which has been there for history years.
Hey, Mama Gnome.
See, that to me.
Hey, Mama.
That to me, I think that's more. And this is just my opinion. I think that's kind of more revenge type stuff. I mean, hey, now that we can do this, let's do it. I mean,
I can
don't
see a bunch of people doing that down in the United States to you guys. I can see that.
I mean,
There
I
are
don't
people that will do it.
see as it being a racism thing. It's not. I mean, they probably were somewhat racist that back then, and it.
Well, look at the maple syrup.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Taking off the shelf, the enzyme.
Aunt Jemima.
Yeah.
Now, renaming the labels, what they're going to do.
No, they already changed the label, taking the bandana off her head, and now she's not going to be there anymore.
Well, see, that product will end up going away.
That's not right.
No, the product itself won't. The packaging will.
Yeah, the packaging.
I'll bet you. I'll bet you're going to find that product going bye-bye because that was it. Matter of fact, I don't even think that I even buy it anymore because it doesn't even taste the same it used to as I knowing as a kid.
They
Well,
changed
quality
it.
of product, quality of packaging. Yeah, that'll
Yeah,
do.
I
that'll
probably
do.
won't buy it anymore because that's the first thing that I go and I identify that picture with my childhood
Exactly.
growing up as being good tasting syrup.
Syrup.
Yeah,
Not
now
like
that
now
Try to
because they
find the Aunt
changed
Jemima
it.
waffles anymore. You can't.
you can't.
Okay, and
And they were good.
here's another question: If it's wrong for, say, a white cop to kill a black man, I'm just going to use that for example. Why is it okay if a black cop kills a white man?
It's
Yeah,
never
why
okay
is there
to
no
do either or.
reciprocation?
Yeah.
There should be any difference.
That's
Well,
a complex
I don't know
answer.
if anyone realizes it or not, but the white race in this country is very gradually becoming a minority.
Yep.
It's
I
not
can see that.
gradual. I think it's been. I don't think it's been gradual. I mean, it might have started out that way, but I think at this point the snowball's done headed down the mountain. I'm
And
kind
if
of happy, to be honest. Just get the snowball over it with already. Just get over all this racist shit.
We are with the white.
Everybody to get over it faster. I'm all on it.
and if
I-
you
I can't speak for the United States on the minority issue, but I know in Canada, I mean, I lived in towns and cities, and after 5 or 6 years living in these places, I became a minority on a bus. Usually it was all white, and now it's a mix of everyone, and then all of a sudden, there's literally really no one left white in that area. I mean, I see what's going on. It's happening here in Canada too. And I've got no problem with it. It's just we are
I'll
the
give you-
minority now.
You know,
We are
let me
the
give you an
Hold on, Diver.
example.
Hold on, Diver. And if you truly think about it, there is no pure race anymore. We're all
Oh,
mixed
absolutely
with
not.
a race.
Yes, I agree.
We're all mixed race.
Yep.
Excuse my terminology on that.
We are.
No, that's
Because
good.
there's a lot.
That's a fact.
That's a complete fact.
Every white man will have a black or Indian or
Yep.
Asian in them.
Yep.
There's no pure race anymore.
Yep.
I
Exactly.
was always raised, but my parents and my grandparents raised me saying, as we have one thing in common. We all bleed red. There shouldn't be no race across the board.
Right.
And that's how I've always, was raised to think.
Let me give you an example. I was in the Air Force, and when I got to my first duty station, I was assigned a room in the barracks, and there was nobody there. I could see that there was because he had left some furniture and a few other things behind. He was away on what's called temporary duty. When he did come back, I met him. He was a very cordial individual, very well mannered, very well versed, and he was black. And I want to tell you something. He was one of the nicest people I've ever met, and he had a philosophy. And he let me know one day about it. He says, there are blacks and there are the N word, and then there are whites and there are honkies.
Mhm.
And I said, yeah, there's that in every race on the planet. And he says, good, I'm glad you see it that way. And we got along tremendously up until the point where they put me on codeine for some pulling wisdom teeth, and I slept for a day and a half. And we failed inspection because I happened to be there.
That's some good shit, isn't it?
That sucks.
Oh, please. I didn't know what it was they gave me when they discharged me because the procedure, I had to overnight in the hospital before the night before, so they could make sure I wasn't on anything. And then they took out 3 wisdom teeth, and 2 of them were impacted, and the other one was on its way. But they sent me home the next day and gave me a bottle, kind of like a blank bottle of pills. They said, take one of these every 8 hours, and if it gets worse, come back in. Go on sick call, emergency sick call. I took 2 of those pills, probably 6 o'clock at night. I didn't wake up for almost 36 hours.
Damn.
I had 4 of them taken out like that. Same
Damn,
thing.
you damn druggie.
And I later found out that they damn near court-martialed the nurse that gave them to me.
Hey, Mama
Definitely.
Noma's right. They did take the Indian off the Orlando Lakes butter too,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and they're talking about doing the Redskin football team that way too.
Yeah,
Well, that's
I've
going to
heard
be
that.
a tough nut to crack because they've been after them for a couple of decades.
Yeah.
But they're being pressured by the sponsors and stuff now.
Ah, well, yeah. You got to go where the money says.
What
Yeah.
about Kansas
Politicians
City
learn that
Chiefs?
early.
Mama, no, you can come on up. I can move myself back.
What about Kansas City Chiefs? Are they going to do something
And
about that?
who the hell's on the speedway?
Yeah, Odin, what you got to do, though, you got to put up a PayPal or a GoFundMe and get yourself a good StreamYard.
Yeah.
I was going to say, what else they're trying to take down is the George Washington, Lincoln, and the Colonel statues.
Oh, that's nothing. Did you hear what that Indian chief wants taken down?
What
And
now?
it's going to take a lot of explosives to do it.
No.
Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I
Good
heard
luck with
that.
that.
I heard
Oh,
about that.
what is it? That Wild Horse or Crazy Horse?
They want to actually take that.
No, Crazy Horse is long since dead, 150 years ago.
No, I'm talking about has something to do with they're doing Crazy Horse up near Mount Rushmore too.
Well, they did that. I don't know if it's done, but they did a
No.
huge sculpture of a Indian chief on a horse. I don't know if they.
Yeah,
ever did
that's
that.
Crazy Horse. It's I'd say maybe the quarter of the way done. I think it's his likeness and maybe the top of the horse and the backside of the horse. I think the last time I heard the guy that did Mount Rushmore, his son's doing Crazy Horse.
Sorry about that.
I ain't going to be like up long because they're going to try to tear that one down too.
It's just ridiculous. I know exactly what they're doing. They're going for the gusto, and they'll settle for what they get. But this is getting beyond ridiculous.
It's part of history, and
Well,
the
this
newer
is
generation just
1984.
want to know what history was.
This is Big Brother, 1984. He who controls the past controls the present.
Well, if they're gonna take all that, then they got to take everything that has to do with every part of history, from everything, the American Indians, everything through
Well,
the everything.
do you know what they just opened last year in D.C.?
No, I haven't been there in a while.
The Black History Museum.
Oh,
Mama, come hug.
no.
Hey,
Good
Jen.
evening.
Hey, Fred. What's up? Hey,
Hey,
Odin.
Mama Gnome, did you grow a little bit?
Nope,
Oh,
think
you
it's
must have got a higher chair.
I did.
You lowered the angle of her camera.
Yeah, right?
Theo, don't go up, and then you can come back up here, okay, hon? You got some stuff to do anyway. I'll be listening. Let me hug, guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, Odin, once you dump Slash there, he's added a picture. Literally. Jeez,
We got to put the ladies up. Sorry,
you're
Patriot.
making me
Yeah.
dizzy.
Hey, John.
Put Slacker back up. We got to have the ladies back up here.
Hey, Mama. All right, go ahead then. Close the door
You're
behind
making me wish I was back underwater again and completely weightless.
you. Hey, Mary.
So how's it over in your neck of the woods there? Mama Gnome?
Same old shit, different day.
Please tell me you ain't drinking out of the same water spot that Tammy was.
No, I drink bottled water.
Okay. There's something wrong with the people on that side of the mountains. Just kidding, Jed.
Yeah, I meant to ask you, did you behave yourself last week?
Who, me? Behave never.
Oh,
Hey,
well,
Harry.
you remember I was rather close to you last week.
Last
week, I That didn't sound weird at all.
No, I was out in his neck of the woods last week.
It sounded kind of creepy, you know.
As Jeff said the other day, yeah, I don't want him in my mouth. It's like,
Oh, God.
he was talking about his name or something like that, and it's like, what?
Yeah,
Jeff,
well,
that didn't sound right.
So who didn't he want in his mouth?
I don't know. I don't remember.
he didn't want to say the guy's name.
Yeah.
Who was it that used to do that? I think it was Emo. He won't say Navin Johnson. He keeps saying NJ, and I called him out for that.
Mama Gnome, how far are you from Home Depot up there?
Home Depot is probably about, 10 minutes away from where I live?
Well, about 10-15 minutes. I might give you guys a product number and see if you can find one up there your way. I'm trying to put some cabinets in here for the entertainment center, and they're screwing me down here and saying, "Oh, they're going to be in. They're going to be in. They're going to be in." I don't think they're ever coming in. I'm held up from a remodeling job here in my house because of it. I'll drive all the way up there and get it if I can.
What is it you're looking for?
They're basically like kitchen cabinets, and what I do is I cut the bottom where your kick plate would go. I cut them down just a little bit and lower the cabinet, and I put them all together across the wall.
Yeah.
And mount them together, and then I'll put a nice tabletop on it, and then I'll build some shelves on each end, and then I'll put my 75-inch TV on mounted on the wall, and I'll put some shelves above it, and then put a nice decorative thing up top there, and then put this lighting up in there, and have a nice place to put all my dust collectors. But I'm missing 2 cabinets that they said they would have come in, and they're not coming in.
Can you hear them?
What kind of cabinets are they? Are they like the corner parts, or are they like just the regular?
No, just regulars, just regular squares. But
And you can't order them and have them come in?
well, they said what they said is basically said they were on the trucks. They said this is what it means when it
On
says
trucks.
this, and that was
the
like
checks in the mail.
exactly. It was 3 weeks ago, and I know better than that. And we
I
keep
want to tell
calling.
you something. I drove from New Jersey all the way out to Western Pennsylvania on Route 80. I almost saw more trucks than I did cars coming back. I couldn't see the other side of the road all that much going out, but I want to tell you, coming back, it was pretty much even, the amount of cars to the amount of tractor trailers. So they're out there.
Here's the problem though. Just like you can't buy a 2020 Goldwing. They stopped making them because they can't get parts from them because different parts of the country aren't making parts. It's so bad, right down to they can't even change the oil on a motorcycle because the company that makes the plastic jugs to put the oil in is still not working because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
And the worst of it is, whereas New Jersey and New York were number 2 and number 1, now the rest of the country is in the top 10, and we're pretty decent, mainly because we've stopped opening again. But the rest of the country still hasn't been done with the first wave yet.
Yeah.
The containers you're talking about, are you talking about like windshield washer and oil containers and everything like that, the plastic ones?
The plastic jugs that you buy oil in.
Yeah.
Those
are made by
roads are stopped.
Those are made by RecoCam. I know, I used to work for them. They're a huge company.
Yeah, it goes to show you that probably the guys that are making these cabinets are probably shut down too, and I'll probably never be able to find these things for months and months and months.
Not to mention, too, you'll probably never get the same ones in the same design. It'll be a different model.
Give it 2-3 years, you might be able to get it done.
Oh, hell no.
You could just make them yourself. I mean,
Yeah, I was going to say that. That's what I did in my workshop until my wife started using it as a storage room.
Well, I might have to spend a little extra money and get the oak ones and paint them. I don't want to do that, but
Ooh, yeah.
yeah, that would
Really
be a
not-
little much.
I spend good money for oak furniture. I paint on oak.
well, see, that's what I don't want to do. But I designed the trim and the painted walls and everything to go to set these white cabinets. Will set this whole wall and everything around it off, and it's going to look absolutely gorgeous. But
Yeah,
without these things, I just can't do it.
Don't paint. Oh, please don't do that.
Don't.
Like, I wouldn't even want to. I would not want to see that because that would like tear a heart in me.
I'll tell you, when I first moved into this house, I lasted less than a year, and I put an addition on, and I turned what was the kitchen into a TV room. And my wife wasn't around when I picked out the color for the room. I got darker brown for the walls, and she's been ranking on me ever since. But when you're sitting in here with the TV going, your focus is on the TV. You don't want it to be on the side of the walls with all kinds of light blaring on them.
Yes, I got that handled with background lighting, but the background lighting can be dimmed up to or down to about 5%, where there's just enough lighting where it kind of blends in, or you can have it blaring so it's at 100%. But
well, I'll tell you this: my wife is down with her parents right now. I'm home alone. I'm sitting in that TV room, and the only light that I have is from the laptop. I've got 3 other little lights that I can see. One is the set-top box power light. The other is the battery UPS power light, and the recharge on my phone. Otherwise, I got nothing lit in here except the laptop.
yeah, see, I don't know. I don't really know what the color. I got bright white trim with a.
Odin.
I don't even know. I don't, maybe a light, very light.
Yes, sir.
Bluish
Odin, do
gray, you
you
might
see
say.
chat at all?
Oh yeah, a little redneck there.
Okay. Just I didn't know if you could see chat or not. I didn't know what device you were using.
Yeah, it's all good. Joni left. Yeah, I'm worried about him.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut it off. I just wasn't sure if you could see chat. That's all.
Oh, he reads them. And I've got a darker type of floor. It's kind of composite, but it's really, really good stuff. I mean, you can pour water on it and leave it and let it evaporate completely, and it doesn't affect the floor at all. And with these white,
membrane?
I don't know. No, I don't know. It's just, I mean, this stuff is like $6.50 a square foot or whatever you call it. Very, really good stuff. And with these white cabinets, it's just going to go pow. It's going to be awesome looking. But that's why I really don't want to use the oak and paint it. I don't have to.
Just give it a call every second or third day. I mean, they're eventually going to get that truck in. There's got to be a truck on the way, but it's probably stuck at some kind of.
Well, here's the thing: the place it was supposed to be coming from wasn't more than 100 miles away, and they said it was on its way. But
Are the cabinet makers still employed at Home Depot down there?
nah, this comes. What is it? What did they say? It was. Was it Bombay or something like that? I think my wife said it was Bombay.
Oh, okay.
Well, good night, Joni. Take care,
Night,
hon.
John.
See you, Joni. See you, my love.
But I guarantee you this: as soon as I get this shit done, my wife will say, "Whoa, we're moving."
And poor Mama Gnome's up here and a bunch of men talking. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
It's them Canadians. You can't let them on your channel.
Well,
So, what does everybody think about this federal legislation they're coming out with to make police more
Harry.
transparent?
What's up, Odin?
Hey, Harry.
Slash Patriot. There's my mama.
Hey, baby.
transparent as far as what?
Oh, there's two pieces of legislation, one in the Senate and one in the House of Representatives. One wants to do away with qualified immunity. The other wants to modify it. And guess where each one is?
I think the qualified immunity should be modified.
I agree.
Because you get those people that get pissed for getting, say, pulled over for having drugs or transporting drugs. They're going to turn around and sue the cop because they got locked up.
I agree with the modifying. I think there needs to be some sort of protection, but if a cop is chasing down someone and this person has no weapons, had no weapons, and they shoot him square in the back for no reason, that crossed the line.
Yep.
Well, if you haven't guessed it, the modification is in the Senate and the get rid of it is in the House.
Yeah,
And guess who controls which?
exactly.
And I hate to say it, but there's at least 7 other pieces or 8 other pieces of legislation, the majority of which have been around for 5 or more years, and they've done nothing with them.
I was going to say, wasn't this stuff kind of in there before and just sat there?
At least 5 of the 9 have been there for at least 5 years each. And
But it never had this movement for you guys.
and Congress has done nothing.
Well, if people find out that
No, people
this is
know
there,
about it. It's been in the papers.
well, then if they don't do something with it, this is going to keep on going.
It's going to keep adding
Square
fuel to
one
the fire.
again.
Well, the qualified immunity coming from the House of Representatives and even the one in the Senate are moot, mainly because the president has already said they're non-issues. He will not sign. And
See
he will
what now?
veto. He's already made that statement. He won't touch qualified immunity.
Well, you're not going to get your fucking problem solved.
Right?
He'll just
Agreed.
make a bigger one. I think if there's enough people out there that believe in the getting rid of this or modifying it anyway, I think he just signed his.
Death certificate.
No, I think he just signed his unemployment checks.
Well, yeah. In other words, that's his death certificate. The way I consider it.
Yeah,
Who's
well,
gonna do that?
he doesn't care about the money he's getting. What was it, 600 grand or something like that a year for being?
Well,
I think he's 750 now. I think it's 750.
Yeah, I know they've raised it over the years since I looked into it, I guess. But the other side of it is he signs it back. He won't take it. He claims.
He's got enough problems once he's out of court. He's probably got tax evasion crap that's coming up. There are charges pending against him later on.
Yeah, well, the other side of it is, did you all hear about the ruling, the unanimous SCOTUS ruling that came out today about the Electoral College?
Nope.
They can be told by their state that they have to follow the popular vote. Which is exactly what didn't happen in the last election. I should say last presidential election.
What are you guys gonna do with your new president if you do get a new one? You know it's gonna be.
Well, there's all kinds of speculation that it might not be bidden.
If you're talking Kanye West, I mean, you're all up the creek without a paddle.
Oh
You
no,
get Kanye,
no,
you're
I'm
screwed.
talking Philly news now. You know,
No, whatever. But either way, I mean,
did you know that he's e-begging for campaign funds?
no, come on,
He is.
no.
He's been doing it since last year, and he just got out of jail.
No.
Yep. He was arrested for threats to a judge and police.
So how can you even run? Like, it makes no sense. You're not gonna pass a criminal background check. I'm sorry. You're up.
Well, you know, what can I tell you? It's
Unless he's never been prosecuted for it yet.
well, with the COVID, it took a while. He's actually got like 3 sets of charges from 3 different incidents. One, I think they found him not guilty, and another, he still has to go in for the court, and then the third with the threats to the judge and the and the police. And I've got a copy of that one.
The threats to the judge don't even have to be resolved. You're not running. It's not
Well,
happening.
you can run. You're just not going to get past. You're not going to get past the security checks.
No, that's what I mean. You're not like you can fill out all that work and do it, but see you
Whether
later.
you did that one or not, you're going to get convicted of it.
Yeah, well, he's in the same bloody boat as Eric Brandt.
Yeah.
And I think he's running now 2 live streams a day. 9 and 9.
I used to support Eric Brandt until he said death to all cops. Not all cops are bad.
I never really supported him just for most of his antics. I mean, maybe I'm old fashioned, but no, I don't say the things he says in front of children. Maybe that's my morals and he has none. I don't know.
Everybody attacks the law different. Eric has his way. He's actually done good too. He's actually done case law.
I laud him for his homeless.
No, but I'm just
support of the
saying
homeless.
that some things else he's done that are different. I understand that, but for the greater good that what Eric has done, he has done a lot of things that benefit. So I do believe that. So I guess we have a different opinion in certain ways.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to let him pass on the threats in the language in front of
I
children.
understand
I'm
that.
sorry.
I respect that too. I wasn't happy about that either. And I also see the good in what Eric can do too. I mean, I don't agree with everything he does certain ways. But I have a different way. So I try to see both sides of the coin and see the best of what everybody can do for each other.
Yeah, as far as I
That's all
know,
I'm saying.
yeah, I'm not going to argue that. But HPR News, as far as I know, you're right. That's the only one.
There's only one that
Right.
uses the electoral college.
Yep. Well, it's set up in the Constitution.
Yep.
That's from back when only landed gentry could vote.
When was that? When was that established?
1783.
Wow.
Back
Yeah,
then,
I remember that. I was there.
yeah.
You were there.
And they call me old.
Odin was your neighbor. Odin was there too.
Hey, man, the cookies back then were awesome, man. They wouldn't fill with all that shit.
Oh, I got to agree. Have any of you ever been to Williamsburg, Virginia?
No.
Do any of you know what that is?
Yep.
I don't know. I think it was the Rockefellers bought the town.
Oh,
They turned it into a museum, the entire town.
Yes.
with a very few exceptions. You will find cars in certain homes right in the middle of the restoration area, only because they never sold out. But the entire town is as it was in the late 1700s.
It's like out of a movie.
Yeah, well, there have been several movies filmed there.
Yeah, I know. There's been a ton. Yeah, I remember that now.
You
Yeah,
want to see a town that's old? Canton, Mississippi.
Yeah.
It's just north of Madison, Mississippi, and probably, well, let's see, Madison, Mississippi is about 5 miles south, and then about another 12 miles is Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah, we'll go a little further south, St. Augustine, Florida. It's probably the oldest town in the country.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, I've driven through there. I never stopped. But I want to tell you, if you have time and the wherewithal, I recommend at least a week in Williamsburg, Virginia. And if he's still doing it, go meet Thomas Jefferson. That actor is phenomenal.
Oh, I met the real one.
He gives a daily lecture in a little grove somewhere, and you really got to know how to find it to get there. And it's free. You don't have to pay extra for it. But he spends about an hour there just talking to people.
Nice.
And he never, ever breaks character.
Nice. That would be really cool.
And I've done that more than once with him. I've been there about 4 times.
And he
And
knows his facts and everything.
oh
He's
my
right down the
God,
line.
he knows the man's life. He's living it. I want to tell you.
Nice.
I mean, I didn't know that that the term universal suffrage was from even back that far. They knew what it meant, because I asked him, I said, what are your views on universal suffrage? And he says, I don't believe in it.
There you go.
Okay.
Well educated man.
I got something here real
Well,
quick.
he was one of the co-authors of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. And I think that the Electoral College might have been partly written by him, because his answer to my question was landed gentry are the only ones that should be allowed to
You
vote.
should ask him his background and his schooling. You never know. He might actually have gotten some electrical college education, the whole 9 yards.
No, he went to William and Mary right there in Williamsburg.
That's it.
Well, they wanted me to.
That's one of
They
the
wanted-
oldest colleges in the country.
Yeah, I know. I'm Canadian. I don't understand that, but I mean, that's amazing. It sounds like he's just an encyclopedia.
Oh, he is. He is, absolutely. And he's
They-
won awards for his acting.
Awesome.
They wanted me to sign that thing, but I had a bad year that year. I couldn't afford the ink.
The,
I had to decline.
that's those bad years now.
And
Better-
I got to agree, PD. The cookies that they make in the one tavern there, oh, they're phenomenal.
Oh yeah, and that's when beer had like 50% alcohol in it too, man.
Oh,
Hey.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
And I splurged the one year when I took my daughter, and we actually there was a very expensive tavern downtown Williamsburg that you can actually have dinner in and eat the same foods that they ate back then, and they got bored with their meat, so they always had these side trays of all kinds of little condiments that you would put on the meat, and none of them were ketchup.
No, Odin, not condoms.
Yeah. Not rib for your pleasure.
You got me
Not
choking.
ribbed.
They had ribbed ribs, but not ribbed.
Yeah, not ribbed. Yeah. And they didn't glow in the dark, so just relax. You know, it's all good. It's all good.
You gotta be able to find it somehow. Come on now. Sorry, Mama Gnome.
It's all good.
He's cracking up anyway.
Gentlemen, there's a lady here. Come on now.
She was thinking of jokes all along anyway. We just spoiled it.
And the other thing I want to know, being as how I got, he's not, you're still here. What is the fascination with our auditing group for Canadians?
It's not a fascination. We go through the same crap up here. Everything you guys go through, we go through it, but we don't have it as hard as you guys do. You guys, your cops are out of control in certain areas. In certain areas, things are back and forth. But the fascination is because people have been burned up by the police. I mean, I've been burned by the police many times, you know, and I've had to stand up for my rights. And if I didn't stand up for my rights, guess what happens? I get railroaded. You know, you don't do that. And you see your friends railroaded, you don't want to see that happen anymore. And when you know, especially when you know that your friends are just walking along with you, they single him out, they pull him aside, they start telling him he's got a search. He hasn't done a damn thing. Not a fucking thing. And he's getting railroaded. It's not going to happen. I'm not having it anymore. I don't take it up in the ass anymore with this shit. I won't put up with police doing that. Now, if there's somebody that's guilty and that gets searched, I mean, that's their own problem. You do something wrong, you get searched, that's your own fucking shit. Shouldn't have done something wrong to begin with. So that's my fascination. My fascination is not a fascination. My fascination is the fact that life is the same up here, but not on the scale that you guys have. Like, you guys have auditors out there everywhere. You have hundreds of auditors going around and showing a lot of stuff. We don't have that up here. We probably have 2 or 3 big auditors in Canada, and that's it. Everybody else is nothing. Like, I don't even go out auditing anymore because of the fact that I've only done a couple of cop watches, and 2 of them have remained bad. 1 was okay. The other fact is, with the COVID going on, we got to all be careful up around here, too. And we're trying to kick our curve up here, which we've kind of done right now, and we're waiting for our second wave. So, yeah, that's the way I feel. I mean, a lot of people don't understand me at all. So, there I am. I don't know what to say, guys. It's the way it is with me.
What was that thing that Harry sent me here a little bit ago? That CDC.
About the masks.
Yeah, about the testing.
Oh, testing, yeah.
Oh,
I can't find it now.
I saw something the other day. There's some place in the United States actually released a thing about sex and how to do it with COVID, and it was pretty explicit. Like,
I wouldn't want to do it with COVID.
Even had to tell you how to do it with doing oral while you have COVID, and when you're making love, you should keep the masks on and stay away from each other, and do it different positions and all that kind of stuff. And I'm
Screw
like,
that, man. I'm gonna do it nasty. I'm gonna do it nasty.
You're gonna be away, man. You ain't gonna be slapping on a bloody mask, man. You're gonna be slapping on an ass. That's what you're friggin' doing.
Right?
I'm sorry, Mama No. I'm sorry, Mama No, but that's how I love my wife.
Hey,
I'm gonna do the nasty.
Hey, it's gonna go hard.
HBR.
That's what you done did shit now.
You can slap the sides, man.
Yeah, I can't find it. I was gonna read it to you guys. In a way, it kind of didn't make a lot of sense, but I don't know.
Was it a joke?
No, it had something to do with.
Oh, COVID.
What were you going to say, Harry?
I was trying to think which one he was talking about.
About when he said if you had the antibodies or something like that, and if you had the antibodies, it was a part of the coronavirus, which is a part of the common cold.
Right. I did that just to keep my sister and them going. I like to do that once in a while.
Oh.
You're saying that they actually.
I did that one. That one there I did just to get my sister and them going, just for the hell of it. I do that a lot. For some of them. But like the Lysol one, though, I posted.
Yeah,
I told the people that months ago. I told people that months ago that would kill the coronavirus months ago.
Oh yeah, it says here if you test positive, a positive
found it.
test result shows you may have antibodies from an infection with the virus that caused the COVID-19. However, this is a chance. A positive result means that you have antibodies from an infection with the virus from the same family of virus called coronavirus, such as that one that causes the common cold.
Okay. So now we got a whole family of coronaviruses. Oh, interesting. Was it Corona Extra? Is it Corona Plus? I mean, does it follow the beer guidelines or something? Or
I don't even know if it's real.
yeah,
It's not. I did it for a joke.
it's crap.
Yeah.
Man, I'd be careful about sending shit like that out. It says here it says if you're wearing a mask, why would you care if I'm not? Your mask works, right?
Yeah.
Your best.
Right.
I like
All
the one that said if a fart's not going to protect if my underwear is not going to protect me from a fart, what the hell's a mask going to do?
Right.
All right.
One of them said too. It was like I bought my mask at a dollar store. It's N95. You bought yours at a Home Depot. Cost you $12. Who's the idiot now?
Yeah.
That's
All right,
what it
ladies
is.
and gents, I'm gonna close the panel down.
All right, Odin.
Thanks for having me, Odin.
No problem.
Thanks
Have
for
a
having
good
me.
Thanks for having me up here. I appreciate it, man.
Respect all of you.
No problem.
Thank you,
man.
sir.
Hey, Mama.
Not at all.
I might pop up and have one to see if my StreamYard is working. If it is, and so if you guys see me out there and you don't show up, I'm gonna kick your ass next time I see you.
I gotta spend some time with the wife, dude. I can't be on anymore tonight. I did Odin's tonight. I didn't even know Odin was done one until Jason told me to come over.
That's
So,
all right.